If this video has reached you, it means you're seeking a change in your life, an improvement, or even to understand yourself and the people around you. And so, start the change right now by influencing your profile's algorithm. Like this video, comment on your thoughts and what changes you hope to see in your life. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel so YouTube recommends more transformative and enlightening videos to you. This way, you'll truly witness the change and improvement in your daily life. Since the beginning of time, humans have sought love, not just any love, but the kind that resonates with the soul, fills the voids, and gives meaning to existence. Yet, few understand that real love isn't found, it's attracted. What attracts it isn't appearance, persuasion, or even need. What truly magnetizes love is something far more powerful: dignity. Carl Jung explained it clearly. Everything in our lives reflects our psyche, our unconscious, the parts we often ignore, yet operate in the background. The love we receive isn't random. It's the exact reflection of how we value ourselves. If you don't respect yourself, you'll attract people who won't either. If you doubt your worth, you'll surround yourself with relationships that reinforce that doubt. But if you possess dignity, if you recognize who you are and set unbreakable boundaries, you'll attract love that mirrors that same energy. Dignity isn't arrogance or pride. It's an internal declaration of who you are and what you'll never allow others to do to you. It's what stops you from begging for attention, tolerating emotional crumbs, or clinging to someone who doesn't choose you. It's not a shield to push others away. It's a beacon illuminating your path, showing you which relationships deserve your presence and which only seek to exploit your light. Most people don't understand this. They get lost in the illusion of love, empty promises, and the need to be chosen. They believe that if they do more, give more, sacrifice more, they'll finally receive the love they crave. But Jung taught us that love isn't negotiated, forced, or begged for. Love is a reflection of the soul, and it only comes to those who've learned to honor themselves. Think, how often have you justified someone who mistreated you? How many times have you ignored that inner voice telling you something wasn't right? Jung called this the voice of the unconscious, the whisper that knows the truth before the conscious mind accepts it. Yet, we keep ignoring it. We cling to painful relationships, people who drain us, dynamics that dim our light. The reality is, what you tolerate is what you believe you deserve. Your love life isn't dictated by fate, luck, or chance. It's your internal energy, your deep psyche, that determines who you attract and keep in your life. If you've been in relationships where you were met with indifference, coldness, or disdain, if love has felt like a battle, it's time to look inward, not to blame yourself, but to understand which version of you has been calling in these experiences. This is where the shadow comes in, Jung's most revolutionary concept. The shadow is the part of yourself you don't want to see, the part you've repressed or ignored. Often our shadow carries fear of abandonment, inherited beliefs, or unhealed wounds. Unknowingly, we project this shadow into our relationships, seeking validation from others that we haven't learned to give ourselves. Have you ever wondered why certain patterns repeat? Why you attract the same type of person with a different face? It's no coincidence. It's your unconscious trying to teach you a lesson. It places you in front of the same mirrors until you decide to break the cycle. Breaking it doesn't mean running away or closing yourself off to love. It means integrating your shadow, facing it, and transforming it. Dignity is the key. When you have dignity, you don't negotiate your worth. You don't try to convince anyone to choose you. You don't change your essence to fit into a relationship. You simply exist in your truth, attracting what's truly aligned with you. But how do you build dignity? It's not enforced with words, but actions. Every time you walk away from what disrespects you, every time you say no to what diminishes you, every time you let go of someone who doesn't value you, your dignity strengthens, and with it, your ability to attract real love. Not love based on lack, dependency, or manipulation, but love that reflects the fullness of who you are. Throughout history, we've been conditioned to believe love is about sacrifice, effort, and pain. But Jung showed us that authentic love doesn't hurt, weigh you down, or drag you. True love flows to those who've learned to love themselves. The love you desire will only arrive when you become the person who deserves it. The question is, are you willing to do that? When you start living from dignity, something shifts. You stop chasing, begging, or accepting crumbs disguised as love. You realize true love isn't a prize to earn, but a manifestation of who you already are. Jung said the unconscious communicates through symbols, patterns, and sensations we often ignore. The problem is, we've been trained to doubt that inner voice, silence it, and settle for what we think is the best we can get. But the truth is, you always get what you believe you deserve, not what you desire or dream of, but what you consciously believe is possible for you. If fear lives inside you, you'll attract people who reinforce it. If your unconscious holds unhealed wounds, you'll find relationships that reopen them, not because the world is against you, but because your psyche is trying to show you what you need to awaken. The key isn't repeating patterns, but recognizing and transforming them. The love you seek already exists, but you'll only find it when you raise your energy, when you stop searching outside for what's always been within. Dignity isn't a mask. It's an essence you cultivate. You cultivate it by refusing to accept less than you deserve, by not letting the fear of loneliness trap you in unfulfilling relationships, and by building a life that reflects who you truly are. Most people stay stuck in relationships where they're devalued, in dynamics where they constantly have to prove their worth, in connections that drain more than they give, all because they fear nothing better awaits. But here's the truth. When you cling to what doesn't respect you, you shut the door to what does. Jung explained that the unconscious seeks balance, integration, and healing. But for that to happen, you must face your shadows, everything you've avoided. Often the problem isn't others. It's what you allow, tolerate, or normalize. When you grasp this, you realize the solution isn't changing others, but changing yourself. Love isn't found in struggle, waiting, or resignation. It's found in the freedom of knowing you deserve more. To get there, you need deep inner work, examining your beliefs about love, relationships, and your worth. Ask, where did these beliefs come from? Who instilled them? Why do you still hold them? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. The love you desire reflects the love you have for yourself. Many mistake self-love for affirmations in the mirror or self-esteem exercises. Real self-love is deep and internal, a commitment to never betray yourself, sell yourself short, or settle for what harms you. When you love yourself, you don't need to convince anyone to choose you. You don't cling to someone who doesn't treat you right. You don't need to prove anything because you know who you are. This energy changes everything. It draws the right people, lets you release fear, and frees you from the anxiety of losing someone. Dignity is the filter separating real love from conditional love. It stops you from staying where your light isn't recognized. It's not easy. It requires strength, courage, and trust that letting go of what isn't yours is the only way to allow what is. Life will test you with people who seem perfect but ask you to betray yourself, opportunities that look appealing but cost your authenticity, and relationships that make you question if you deserve better. In each test, the choice is yours. Stay in what hurts out of fear, or trust that your dignity is the magnet for the love you deserve. The real challenge isn't finding love. It's having the courage to refuse less than your worth, choosing yourself when the world tells you to settle, listening to the inner voice that's always known the truth. When you live from that truth, everything changes. People who exploited your fear vanish. Relationships based on need dissolve. In their place, genuine connections emerge. Not because you chased harder, but because you changed what you'll tolerate. Real love isn't a game of strategy or manipulation. It's a reflection of your relationship with yourself. When you honor yourself and prioritize dignity, you attract exactly that. Not by pursuit, but by embodiment. True love exists only between people who've learned self-respect. If you haven't experienced this yet, it's because parts of you still negotiate their worth. The time to change is now. Love isn't found, it's attracted. What makes it inevitable is the dignity of knowing you deserve something real. The love you seek isn't a prize, something to earn, or within someone else's power, to give or take. It's a reflection of what already exists within you. Most don't understand this because they're conditioned to believe love is external, something to strive for, fight to keep. That's why so many relationships end in pain. Jung put it simply, what you don't heal internally, you'll find reflected externally, over and over, until you face it. Every relationship where you felt undervalued, Every person who played with your feelings, every story ending in frustration, all were manifestations of an unlearned lesson within you. If deep down you believe you must earn love, you'll attract people who make you feel inadequate. If you fear being alone, you'll attract relationships where others hold the power to abandon you. If you doubt your worth, you'll attract connections where you must constantly prove your importance. Unknowingly, you become the architect of your own suffering, but you don't have to stay in this cycle. The time to break it is now. The first step is understanding that real love isn't requested, it's inspired. It's not negotiated, it's deserved. It's not obtained, it's reflected. When you internalize this, you stop acting from need. You stop idolizing others, obsessing over who chooses you. You realize the only choice that matters is yours, who you allow into your life, who gets access to your energy, time, and emotional space. Choosing from dignity transforms how you experience love, but many aren't ready. They keep seeking externally what can only be found within, handing their power to others, craving validation, begging for love, losing themselves in the process. The most powerful, purest, most transformative love is born from absolute self-respect. If you've settled for less, given too much, or lost yourself trying to fit into someone else's life, this is your sign. Not to blame yourself, but to awaken. You don't need to convince anyone to love you. You don't need to prove your worth. When you live from this truth, everything changes. People who exploited your insecurities disappear. Fragile, one-sided relationships fade. In their place, you attract connections worth having, not out of desperation, but because you've changed what you'll accept. This change isn't overnight. It's a daily commitment to never betray yourself again. It's choosing not to let fear of loneliness make you tolerate the intolerable. It's understanding that real love thrives on mutual respect, genuine admiration, and unwavering recognition of each other's value. If someone can't give you that, it's not love, it's attachment, habit, dependency. Real love never makes you feel insufficient, doubt your worth, or lose yourself to keep it. Lasting relationships aren't built on sacrifice, but on two people being themselves. No masks, no games. Love isn't a conditional contract, but a choice rooted in freedom. This freedom is only possible with dignity, self-love so solid no relationship can destabilize it. The biggest mistake is thinking you must change to be loved. The only thing you must do is recognize your worth and act accordingly. When you do, the right people appear, the right relationships unfold, opportunities once out of reach materialize, not because the world changed, but because you did. If you've waited for a sign to finally prioritize yourself, stop accepting unhappiness, raise your standards, and attract love worth having. This is it. Now is the time to decide you'll never settle for less. What you deserve isn't suffering, begging, or waiting. You deserve love reflecting all you already are. Love that doesn't shrink you but expands you, that liberates instead of limits. But to receive it, you must become someone who believes they deserve it. This only happens when dignity becomes your absolute priority. When you realize love isn't built from lack, fear, or validation. Real love is built from dignity, the certainty that you don't need to prove your worth to be loved. Many fear this point because it means leaving old patterns, releasing what they once thought was love, and facing the possibility of something better. But to receive that love, you must become someone who refuses less. Jung taught that our reality reflects our inner world. We can't attract authentic love while clinging to beliefs that make us doubt ourselves. We can't have healthy relationships if we still think love is suffering, begging for attention, or feeling unstable. But when you shift this perspective, everything aligns. Not magically, but as a natural consequence of your evolution. The love you receive will always mirror the love you give yourself. When you become someone who respects, chooses, and refuses to tolerate what diminishes you, the universe responds. Life will test you. People may try to pull you back to old versions. Relationships may challenge your growth. In those moments, you must choose. Return to what's familiar or move toward what you deserve. If you choose growth, everything misaligned with your new energy will fade, making room for what's truly yours. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you believe you deserve. When you act as someone deserving of real love appears. Now it's your turn. Reflect. What are you allowing in your life? What patterns have you repeated? When have you doubted your worth? Ask yourself, am I living from dignity or fear? If this resonated, share your thoughts below. What part struck you most? What decision will you make today? By sharing, you inspire others. Pass this message to someone who needs it. The world needs more people living authentically, truthfully, and self-loved. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more transformative content. This space is for those ready to evolve, break free from what no longer serves them, and attract what they truly deserve. Remember, the love you seek isn't outside you. It's in how you treat yourself, speak to yourself, and choose to live. When you finally choose yourself, the love you deserve becomes inevitable. See you in the next video. Until then, remember, your dignity is the most powerful magnet to attract real love.